Okay, wait, is this thing on? Shopping on a diet. So many of you may already know that I am 11 weeks into dieting. I'm preparing for my first ever bodybuilding show. So today I am going shopping 5 weeks out from my bodybuilding show. And this is just gonna be a brain dump. So I'm gonna put timestamps in the description where you can go check out my thoughts on different foods. Basically, just what should you be paying attention to? So for meats, what should you be paying attention for? For sweets, just a huge brain dump. Well, and it just so happens that we start off on the coffee and tea aisle. Obviously, coffee itself, caffeine is going to be a big part of dieting because it's going to suppress your appetite. It's going to make it easier to actually diet. So you can utilize caffeine for dieting, but there's not much to say. Also for tea does also have caffeine, so be careful with consuming too much tea because most people don't know that tea have caffeine. I was one of those people. I did not know that tea had caffeine. Now I do, so now I don't consume that, but I do consume my caffeine through other sources. If you consume your caffeine through coffee, then just try to not use it every single day because it becomes repetitive. It becomes not effective. And if you use it every single day, it will lose that effect. It will lose that diuretic effect. And fundamentally, you will just get addicted to caffeine and it will not help you lose fat. So just make sure that you utilize caffeine. Just utilize it safely and in periods of time, not all the time. Drinks and sodas. Drinks and sodas can also be very similar to caffeine or coffee because they can help you diet if you utilize them correctly. A very simple comparison that we can take here is these two products. So Coca-Cola. This right here is 150 calories per can. This right here, 0 calorie, 0 calories. So when you're dieting, you obviously have the choice between something that's gonna taste a bit better but has a shit ton of calories, or something that has 0 calories, still tastes good, decent, and 0 calories. And this just works the same with a lot of other drinks. You can find this exact same thing with Fanta, exact same thing with Pepsi, exact same thing with Dr. Pepper. There are the 0 calorie options, and then there are the full calorie options, which you will want to stay away from. But the 0 calorie options, chef's kiss. Okay, next section, I think we can section off honey, jam, and peanut butter. Those three things. Peanut butter may be surprising for most people, but it's not that great. It's not that great for dieting. It's not that great for anything. Many people say, oh my God, peanut butter is so great because of the protein, right? You must be eating peanut butter because of the protein. You have to remember that peanut butter has a shit ton of fat. So you're going to want to stay away from peanut butter. Jam and honey, on the other hand, can be pretty great substitutes for pre-workout meals or for energy. So if you take something like honey, that's this right here, it has pure carbs. Why is that great? That's great because for pre-workout meals. So if you're trying to make the best pre-workout meal so that you can still enjoy your workouts while on a dieting phase, you're going to want to eat as much carbs as possible. So honey, fruits is going to be great for pre-workout meals because it's pure sugar, pure carbs. And lastly, jam. That's exactly the same thing. It's just pure carbs. So for a pre-workout meal, it's going to be great. Now let's move on to bread right here. So bread, it's one of those things that a lot of people use. Bread is tasty, it's delicious, but it adds no value. It adds no value to your daily diet. I have completely cut out bread from my diet. I haven't eaten bread in a very long time because I just can't find the right time when you would eat it. It's not low calories, it's not sugar, so you can't use it as a pre-workout meal. It's just carbs and fiber that you just, it's not even high protein. So like, where do you even place bread? You don't. So that's why I have completely cut out bread. If you can't cut it out, then sure, go ahead, eat it. You know, I'm not gonna force you to cut out anything. If you like eating something, then go ahead, eat it, but it adds no value. So if you're trying to optimize for value, bread is not going to be something that you're going to want to eat because the macros are just not great. Cereal and oatmeal. So first of all, for cereal, I know that a lot of people eat this for breakfast. If you're trying to lose weight, cereal is not a great option. It's just not. There's so many more better options that are more filling, lower calorie, higher protein that you can switch out for cereal and you're going to be better off. So for me, probably not. Don't eat cereal. As per oatmeal though, there are different types of oatmeals. If you can find the right one, then oatmeal is going to be amazing for something like breakfast because it can actually fill you up. It's just pure carbs, so you're gonna mostly use it for being full, having energy from the fiber, and having kind of like long lasting energy, so you can use it for that, or you can cut it out. There's still foods that are lower calorie, but you can utilize oatmeal for some things. Ah, yes, I love it. The sweets aisle. The sweets aisle is a very interesting aisle because most of the time you should find yourself not being here, okay? If I was thinking from a bodybuilding perspective, what can sweets be good for, especially in a dieting phase? They have a lot of carbs, they have a lot of sugar, okay? Then I can deduce that you can use sweets as a pre-workout meal, let's say, right? But then you also have to compare them to other things that have carbs. And other things are something like fruit. So yeah, you could eat one of these Nutella cookies that'd be around 100 calories, and that could be a good pre-workout snack because they do have a lot of sugar. Or you could eat a banana. It'd be more filling. It probably tastes better. I'm not gonna lie. And it just overall be better in my perspective. Now, if you really do want to eat sweets, then go ahead. I'm not stopping you. But here's the thing. This thing with sweets is that they want you to consume them. They want you to consume them more and more. So they create them to be addicting. What I have found is that if you stop eating sweets for a period of time, you will not want them. So for example, me looking at something like this right here, this milk whatever chocolate, I don't want it. I would rather eat strawberries or bananas or apples. They fundamentally have the same thing, carbs. But when you stop eating these addicting foods, you stop wanting them. So I suggest you actually get away from them. And it's going to be so much better off if you don't want to. If you just want to eat sweets, then go ahead. I'm not stopping you. They can be utilized as pre-workout snacks. My opinion would be staying away from them. Okay, dark chocolate is another thing, or chocolate in general. Mostly dark chocolate was something that I wanted to touch on. Dark chocolate, there's this whole trend kind of that started using dark chocolate in sweet stuff. So something, if you're eating some like Greek yogurt, then you can add in some dark chocolate and it's gonna taste a bit better. I don't really get the idea behind it. I'd rather just eat like strawberries with it and it would probably be better. But dark chocolate you can consider because dark chocolate is pretty valuable in the micronutrients. So it does have a lot of micronutrients that you may want. It does have the fat that you may want. So dark chocolate is something that you could consider, but nah, there are better options. We love to see it. So this right here is the fitness aisles. Like, there are still stores out there that don't have protein powder in them. Protein powder is amazing. You will want to utilize this on a diet, because on a diet you want to have as much protein as possible. But these aisles, if you can find a store that has this fitness aisle and it's very big, the fitness aisle will have so much. But these fitness aisles will be the aisles that you want to explore the most, because they have, I mean, fundamentally, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to go on a diet, the fitness is what you're trying to do. So these aisles are made for you, so definitely explore them. As a person who lives on budgets, these aisles are pretty great. So these I call the conserve aisles. So they will have things like tomato pastes, right? Things like tuna, things like beans, or maybe conserve mushrooms. So these conserve aisles will also be a pretty great place for you to be in, because there's a lot of stuff to find here. So for example, if we take something like tomato paste, this whole conserve is about 400 grams, and it's only 20 calories per 100 grams. So this whole conserve is 80 calories. That's value, and it's a lot of food. Things like these mushrooms, these champignons, right? The 20 calories, 100 grams. So this whole conserve right here is about like 60 calories. So you can utilize them in these kind of small meals that you put together, and they will be a good choice. And another thing that you can that I want to talk about is going to be also tuna. So tuna is something that you want to utilize. So this right here, tuna, make sure that it's in water, it's not in oil. If you buy tuna in oil, that's going to be a lot more calories. If you buy tuna in water, it's going to be amazing for your protein, which you do want to get in. And there's nothing else in it. There's no carbs, there's no fat. It's fundamentally even better than chicken. So tuna in these conserve aisles will be something that you want to look at. Even besides that, there's a lot of gold that you can find in these kinds of aisles. A lot of foods that are quite cheap, quite low calorie. So definitely take a look in these aisles. Okay, great. The next aisle right here is going to be the pasta aisle. Pasta aisle, very similar to rice, will be something that you want to stay away from. Pasta in a dieting phase, it's not that great. So very similar to, it's not filling, it's not great. You know, if you want to replace it with potatoes, but I don't even eat potatoes anymore. So pasta, rice, potatoes, something that you want to stay away from. You know, as I like to say, if you really want to eat it, go ahead, eat pasta. If you like it, then eat it. But most of the time you want to stay away from it. And something that also goes hand in hand with pasta is going to be tomato paste. Can be something that you want to choose from, because it is quite low calories. So again, everything that's going to be made from tomatoes, it's going to be low calories. So for example, this tomato paste right here is about 30 calories. You can find even 20 calories per 100 grams. And then you can utilize tomato pastes as your sauces for your foods. Yeah, as I was saying, here we have rice, and rice. If you get deep enough into the dieting phase, then you're gonna want to stay away from rice. If you're not that deep into dieting, then you can consider rice. But 5 weeks out, as I am right now, rice is just not enough. Now, let's call this aisle right here the sauces and the pickles. This may sound a bit weird, but pickles, your pickles are amazing. So very similar to cucumbers, pickles are very, very low calorie and filling. So pickles right here, 20 calories per 100 grams. That's kind of the range that you want to stay in. So foods that are filling, they're going to have to be something like 20 or 30 calories per 100 grams, and that's going to be like good food. And then also what I want to really talk about is sauces. If you can find the right sauces, it's going to be your savior. So as per the tomato paste, very similar. Sauces can be your savior. However, you have to find the right ones, the low calorie ones. So for example, this ketchup right here that I'm showing you is not low calorie. It's about 100 calories per 100 grams. That's something that you don't want. You want to find reduced sugar sauces, and they can go as low as about 20 or 30 calories per 100 grams, and they're going to taste great with any food that you make. Now, sadly, in this store that I'm in, there are no low calorie sauces, which is actually pretty sad. That's why I use tomato paste instead. But if you look in your store, I'm sure that you can find some low calorie sauces and definitely utilize them, because it's going to make your food taste so much better. And if you can make your food taste better, it's going to be easier to stick to a diet. That's fundamentally the whole idea, making your food more voluminous and tastier while lowering the calories. That's fundamentally the whole goal. Okay, I'll talk about this aisle as well. Chips. Ah, yes, we love chips. Chips, there's nothing great about chips. It's nothing. You can't even use them as a pre-workout meal because of how much fat they have. So if you're eating chips, just stop. Just stop. Genuinely stop for like a month, and you will not crave them anymore. And it will be so good for you, because there's nothing good about chips. There's so much fat in them, bad fat, and you can use them as a pre-workout meal. You can use them for protein. You can use them to be filled because they're not filling. So just step away for a month, and trust me, you're not going to want them after that. Okay, great. The spices aisle. The spices aisle is something, as we talked about the taste, you're going to want to use a lot of spices with your food to make it taste better, to bring out that taste, and then you can just stick to a diet so much better. For example, what I have started doing is putting a shit ton of spices on my food. A shit ton. Like, if you look at my food, it's like my food, and then there's just a pile of spices on top, because it makes your food taste that much better. So do utilize spices. Usually, fun thing, on a bulk, I don't use spices at all. On a cut, I use a shit ton of spices. And that kind of shows that on a cut, you really want to bring out the taste out of everything, because you're eating very little. So you have to make the food very tasty. On a bulk, you're eating a lot of food. You don't really care about food anymore. So you can kind of sacrifice the taste and not make it taste as good. Okay, here we're going through the frozen pizza aisle. I mean, just stay away, honestly. Okay, this aisle right here, I'm gonna call ice cream and frozen fruit. So ice cream, not too great, not too much to say that it's great. Now, so if you buy something like this from the store, it's gonna have a lot of fat, not a lot of protein, a lot of carbs, not that great. A lot of calories, not filling at all, so you don't want this. Now, if you have something like a Ninja blender, which makes ice cream for you, or if you have an ice cream maker, then you can make great ice cream. However, buying ice cream from the store, if you like it, go ahead. I wouldn't suggest for dieting. However, the latter, frozen fruit, this is going to be something that you do want to buy though. So let's go for something like frozen pineapple. Frozen pineapple, 100 calories. Actually, this one is bad. This one is really bad. Let's go frozen strawberries. Frozen strawberries, 100 grams, 25 calories, and it's very filling. Very filling. So frozen fruit, any frozen fruit that you can get will most of the time be low calorie. It's going to be filling. You're going to want to utilize it. Fruit in general is just going to be great for dieting. A frozen fruit is going to be even better, because especially if you eat frozen fruit while it's frozen, you're going to take much longer to eat it, meaning your satiety is going to be higher, meaning you're going to feel fuller. So frozen fruit, I only have great words to say about. Okay, let's talk about ham. Ham, very similar to something like chicken, something like meats, is going to be great. There's not too much good stuff in this aisle right here. Ham is probably the only thing that I'm going to talk about, but ham is great as well. Ham has relatively low calories, relatively high protein, so you're going to want to utilize that. It's comparable to something like chicken. Honestly, it has exactly the same macros as chicken. So if you get bored of chicken, or if you want quick protein, ham you can consider. However, everything else in an aisle like this, like something like prosciutto or maybe sausages that I see here, too much fat, you're not gonna want. So don't go for that. Okay. Eggs and milk. This is a pretty great aisle. So eggs, you can definitely put into a dieting phase. Eggs high in protein, high in good fat, which you do need. So eggs you can work in. What I like to do is find out if the store has egg whites. So just the egg white part. So as you can see right here, something like this right here, just egg whites, So this has about 50 calories per 100 grams, and it's 10 grams of protein per. So as you can see right here, it's amazing. It's amazing for protein. If you need to get in your protein, egg whites you will want. And lastly, cheese. So cheese I actually did want to talk about, because I found out recently that cheese has quite a lot of protein and quite a lot of good fat, and it's quite voluminous. So I will use only about, let's say, 10 grams of cheese on top of my main meals. It will make it taste better. It will add a different type of texture to it, and it's about 40 calories. So if you add only 10 grams of cheese to your main meal, that's only 40 calories. It adds in the good fats, it adds in the good protein, and there's not too much else like carbohydrates, there's not too much carbs. So cheese you can definitely consider. Something even like this, so it's already pre-prepared. You just take 10 grams, put it on your food, it's gonna be great. I would have, like, if you told me like a month ago that cheese on food was a good idea, I would have thought you're crazy. But now that I do use it, it's definitely something to consider. And lastly, for this aisle, milk. Milk. Not that good of a choice. So why do I not like milk? Milk is pretty great. You can find milk that has almost no fat. and you know, that's gonna have almost no calories subsequently. But I don't like getting my calories in through liquids. So if you can make sure that you get in your calories through actual food and not liquid calories, that's gonna be much better because it's going to fill you up. So that's why I don't like milk. But if you can create something with milk that's tasty, for example, you can create oatmeal with milk. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't know any recipes with milk, but if you do have a good recipe with milk, then you can definitely use that. Okay, this aisle right here. So it's mostly about these kind of yogurts, right? So yogurts. This aisle, there's one thing, just one thing that you need from this aisle right here, and that is going to be Greek yogurt. 0% Greek yogurt is going to be godly. It's like if egg whites is like an S tier, this is an S tier as well. Greek yogurt has exactly the same macros as egg whites, so that's why you want to utilize it. And you can find some very, very good Greek yogurt. So you can make some small, you know, desserts with Greek yogurts. You can add in frozen fruit. You can add in some like cocoa powder, and it's going to be tasty. It's going to give you the protein, and it's going to be filling. I think there's something that I can talk about as well. Nuts. Nuts is a tricky slope. You don't want to consume nuts. However, if you find yourself in a position where you're not getting enough fat in through the day, so you should be eating about 30% of your calories should be from fats. So if you're eating 3,000 calories a day, 1,000 calories should be from fats. So if you find yourself not eating enough fats, you can consider nuts because they're high in fat. However, if you're consuming enough fats already through your day from things like meat, from things like, I don't know, other foods, then you shouldn't consider nuts. But if you need that extra fats, then you can definitely consider nuts. Okay, vegetables, and this is a pretty big aisle right here, so I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna fit it in. Vegetables is a pretty big thing. You're going to want to utilize all the vegetables that you can. So I'm standing here at the potato aisle. Potatoes, you can utilize. Potatoes is probably the most filling out of pasta, rice, and potatoes. So if you're eating one of those three, switch to potatoes. Something else like tomatoes, cucumbers, even cauliflower, as you can see right here. All vegetables will be insanely filling. So do consume more vegetables if you're trying to lose weight or diet, and you will find it so much easier. Vegetables, you know, now that I'm dieting and I'm very deep into the diet, I would say about 80% of my carbs is vegetables. So vegetables, very good, very filling, and you're looking for that type of food that, you know, is filling. So the fruits aisle, so that's something like bananas, apples, strawberries. Fruits is also going to be amazing. Amazing, 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 amazing. You can utilize them for things like desserts. You can utilize them for things like pre-workouts. You can just utilize them through the day. They're filling. They have sugar in them. Okay, they're not that filling, but they do have sugar in them, so they give you that immediate energy. I utilize bananas, apples, all of fruits for my pre-workout meals. And also, if I'm trying to make something like a Greek yogurt dessert, I will utilize fruit as well. Okay. English.
you can take the photo of your inside.
Okay? Is it okay? 5 more minutes.
Yeah, sorry,
Five more
I
minutes.
can. My boss is look at the camera. I can.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. Okay, so as you can see right there, I got kicked out, but we're actually pretty lucky because there's only one aisle that was left, and that's the meat aisle. Meat and fish. Meat and fish will also be insanely important for you if you're trying to get in the protein, the fats. Um, if you get in your protein and your fats through other sources, that's completely fine. But I like to get them in through meats. So things like I can throw up pictures. So things like chicken, beef, and also salmon for fats. Well, those will be things that you want to consider. Work into your diet more. So whole foods. So these are called whole foods. Meats. Those you want to eat more of. And that's basically it. That's just me yapping about food. A brain dump. Hopefully you learned something from that. It's genuine information that I learned. So if you can take away something and make your diet easier, make it easier for you to diet by eating filling and tasty foods, then that's completely fine with me. If you didn't learn anything and you just listened to me yap for however long that was, then thank you, I guess. But ladies and gentlemen, this is it for this week. We're 5 weeks out from bodybuilding show, so stick around. I'm definitely gonna film that, but see you in the next one.